Hey guys, today we are revisiting pizza. The first one we did was a faster dough, doesn't take as long, and more of an all-purpose kind of dough. This one is going to be a 70% hydration Neapolitan pizza dough, which is the closest thing to Naples pizza that I've actually come up with in my home oven. A little bit of a different cooking procedure as well, which we'll get to when the time comes. But for this, you're going to need 2 cups of water, right around 100 degrees, about a teaspoon and a half of instant active dry yeast, a tablespoon of salt, and 5 cups of a good bread flour. You're just going to start putting this into your mixer, your water into your mixer, with your yeast. That is about a teaspoon and a half. And turn this on and let it run for about 2 minutes, and then we'll start adding the flour. So you let that yeast mix around for a couple minutes, and it's time to start adding your flour. I'm just going to add this nice and slow. I'm doing 5 cups. And now, this dough takes a little bit longer than that other dough I showed you guys. About 9 hours in total. Could take 2 days if you wanted to. But it's still very easy. It's just a waiting game. 1, 2. I'll tell you, this stuff turns out beautiful. You get a nice, fluffy crust. It's real light. Three. 4. 5. Okay, so just let that mix around for a little bit. Get that flour incorporated into the water. Once most of your flour is incorporated in the water, you add your tablespoon of salt. There you have it. You're going to let this bad boy go for about 15 minutes until it's nice and smooth. This is going to be a wet dough too, by the way. So, don't get scared. Alright. Now, it's going to be pretty wet, so I'm going to flour up my hands. Flour up this table a little bit. Scrape it off of my dough hook. Peel that down and get rid of the dough hook and wash that. That'll be done. Take your bowl off. And there you have it. Some dough. All you're going to do is take a paper towel, a little bit of oil, rub the sides of your bowls down so it doesn't stick while it's fermenting. And this should be enough dough for about 4 12-inch pizzas. Now this is going to be the first fermentation. I'm going to get it back in that bowl and wrap it up. We're going to leave it in a nice warm spot for 2 hours. When we get back, we're going to form it into our four dough balls to make our 4 pizzas and let it ferment again for 6 to 12 hours. That's why you're going to want to let this dough start it in the morning or even the day before. Get that nice fermentation process. It's going to add a ton of flavor. It's going to give you those nice bubbles you're looking for, and just makes a killer dough. So we'll get back to you in about 2 hours. It's been 2 hours, which marks the end of our first fermentation. Dough has rised, so now I got 4 little containers. So after I separate the balls, roll those up, we're gonna put those in there for the second fermentation. I don't have a big proofing box. That's in the future. Might build one out of wood. I don't know, but it's ready to get rolled out into a separate balls. Now, I'm not going to flour the table this time, just a little flour in my hands. Get that dough out of here. It's a little sticky. That's good. Okay, look at that. I'm going to use my bench scraper. Cut this into 4 equal pieces. Cut it in half. And cut each half into half. You could weigh these to make sure they're perfect. I'm not too worried about it being exact. Ooh. It is sticky. It's a wet dough. Now you got that. Your balls. Just gonna take it and make like a claw. Go in a circle. Ooh. That's gonna bring it together. Do a nice uniform ball. Like so. Look at that. There you go. Set that into one of your containers or into a big proofing box if you got it. And do that with the next 3 balls. Pieces of dough, not balls yet. And then you're gonna let that sit for at least 6 hours, up to 12 hours. Now, whichever you choose, in the last hour, you wanna get your pizza stone in the oven and set that to as high as your oven will go. Mine goes up to about 550, so I'll just set it in there with the pizza stone on the top rack, as close to the broiler as possible, and let that stone preheat for about an hour before we cook. That's the difference in the cooking technique we're going to use for this one. We're going to get the oven nice and hot, and then right before we put the pizza in, we're going to kill the oven, turn on the broiler, drop it on that nice hot pizza stone, splash some water into a pan on the bottom of the oven, which is going to give it a real nice lift. And let the broiler cook it. But we'll show you that in more depth in about 6 hours. I'm not patient enough to wait 12. All right, just gonna cover these bad boys up, let it go and ferment. And we'll be right back. Well, it's been 6 hours and our dough is rested. So I'm going to show you how to make this beautiful pizza out of your home oven. So first, we're going to get one of our balls of dough out of our container. Oh, and as you can hear, our oven has reached 550 degrees, so we're going to switch it to broil, so that broil will get nice and hot. Look at that. Now this part you are going to want to use lots of flour to stretch your dough. Your hands, the table, the dough, everywhere. If you got a dog walking by, rub a little on his forehead, call him Simba, your wife will love it. switch the oven over to broil. Got that pizza stone on the top rack, all preheated, nice and hot. We're just gonna kind of pinch our dough and spin it, stretch it out. You could pick it up and throw it at your ceiling, but this is a light dough and it's easy to rip. So you want to be careful. It's a little safer to just put some flour on your table and work it out. You can also do that. Just kind of pull it apart. Or, feeling frisky, there you go. If you do pick up your dough, make sure you got your fingers in. Fingers up tears the dough in, and you're just pulling it apart like that. We're gonna make 2 different pizzas. I'm just making pizzas with stuff I had in the freezer. I had some meat sauce in the freezer, I had some pesto in the freezer, so I'm gonna make a red sauce with meat pizza and a pesto pizza with tomatoes. I had some cherry tomatoes, I cut those in half, and some whole milk mozzarella and Parmesan cheese, or Pecorino Romano. It's nice and stretched out. My broiler's been going for a minute. Look at that, it's beautiful. I like to build the pizza right on top of the pizza peel so it'll slide off onto the stone. I don't gotta pick it up and try to put it on the peel with the sauce, and it's just a mess. So I take my pizza peel, you got some semolina flour, or you could use cornmeal, whatever. Set that on there, and it helps it slide right off. If you ever played like shuffleboard, same idea. That dough's gonna slide right off onto your stone. So, one last little stretch. Also, now at this temperature, in a home oven, you're gonna want to put your sauce and your Parmesan cheese on, but you don't want to put your mozzarella on first, or it'll burn before your dough gets browned. So you're gonna wait until the dough starts to brown. Then you're gonna pull that pizza back out, put the mozzarella on, put it back in the oven, and then wait till your mozzarella starts to get a little bit brown, and by then your edges will be nice and crisp and your dough will be nice and brown. I got a big chunk of meat right here. I'm just going to tear up a little bit. Look at that. Yeah. Then we got our Parmesan. This we will do right now. Grate a little Parmesan on there. That's ready to go in the oven. Now we're going to throw that in on top of the pizza peel, which we got a pan underneath that for a little splash of water. It's going to shoot up some mist and puff up the dough real nice. All right, oven's nice and hot, broiler is on. Pop her open. Slide that off. Throw some water into our pan. Close her up. And there you have it. Just gonna let that dough rise a little bit, get it a little brown. And then we'll add some cheese. All right, now you can see it's getting a little brown around these edges. So we're gonna pull that out. Top it with our mozzarella. And throw it back in. About 1 more minute. And that'll be done. Look at that. That is done. Take our peel. Pop her under. Oh yeah. She's ready to come out. We got a little resting rack right here. Set her there. And now it's time to start on those pesto. Alright guys, so now for the pesto pizza, we're going to do the exact same thing. Stretch our dough out. I know you want to see it. So there you go. Oh, look at that. Stretch it out. We're going to spread our pesto. Just put a couple dollops down there. Spoon it across. And that pesto is going to go a long way. That is very flavorful. Like so. Grate your cheese. Oh, oven's back to 550. So we're ready to turn it back to broil. Add our tomatoes, which you could just put cherry tomatoes, but I like having them. I don't like the tomatoes popping in my mouth. I don't know. It's weird. Like so. We got our pizza peel. A little more semolina. It won't need much. It's still got some on it from the last pizzas. Get that on there. Stretch it back out. The tomatoes kind of moved to the center there. We're going to throw that in the oven and do the same thing we did before. Cook it till the edges get brown, or a little bit brown. Pull it out. Add our mozzarella. Throw it back in. Finish it up. Alright, there you have it. And that is the closest that I have found that you can get to a pizza in your home oven to the pizza that I had in Naples. So salute. I hope you enjoy. Bon appetit. And if you got any questions, just let me know. I'd be happy to answer anything, any suggestions, or what you want to see in the future as well. You let me know. Enjoy.